have taken that opportunity. Yeah, it might be chilly out there, and particularly in the Caterham, but they'll be looking forward to this one. So it is the black and gold car of Johnny Pittard that starts on pole position. It is the black and red car of Luke Stevens that sits alongside Luke behind the wheel of this turbocharged Caterham CSR. And he will look to see whether the former European champion can get the jump on Johnny Pittard when the lights go out. So the safety car has peeled off. We're about to get racing underway, not just for today, but for the 2023 championship season for the Classic Sports Car Club in their 20th year of operation as well. Lights are on the gantry, revs begin to rise, lights go out, and it's the car with the gold flashes of Johnny Pittard and the Dayglow helmet that's got the jump on Luke Stevens as they head up towards Copse Corner for the first time. Richard Carter in the light green class slots himself into what is third position. There's contact ahead and there's cars spinning. I'm afraid one of those that's already got tangled up looked as though it was Richard Green, but there was another car there, Matt, that also had problems and was part of that skirmish at turn number 1.
Yeah, the other one is towards the inside. So Richard Green, I think, has got... No, he's still there. I can just see on the left-hand side. So we'll try and pick up who the other car is there at the first corner. But all out front, it's side-by-side almost between Johnny Pittard and Luke Stevens. They're going to tow each other down the hanger straight for the first time. But can Luke Stevens find his way through in towards the right-hander at the end of the hanger straight? Not as of yet, but he's got 20 minutes to play with here to try and work his way through. And almost side-by-side there for third place as well.
Yeah, I think that might have been Jonathan Edwards that got through and ahead of Richard Carter. There's also squabbles going on further down through the order. That looks as though it's the Ben Simon and Nick Starkey car that's busy doing battle with the others around him. I think the other car that might have had the problem might be car number 20, Tim Woodman. The colour sort of matches Tim Woodman's car, but couldn't quite see the number. Big wiggle on the cold tyre still from Johnny Pittard as he tried to get the power down, working his way past the international pits, but it looks as though safety car is deployed potentially and is heading out on circuit. You can see the yellow flags there off to the marshal's post, and that can only be because of that stricken car. However, I think the leading pair maybe didn't quite realise that. I thought for a split second I thought Luke Stevens was going to take the lead of the race, but I think he puts his foot down, which he will be doing very shortly. He doesn't recatch the safety car before it dives its way into the pit lane, and he's not left that much of a gap, so he's going to have to wait for the safety car to peel off on the exit of Luffield Corner, and then he'll get his foot down and get things back underway. But you can see that Luke Stevens is already right with him. We've also got the red car in third place of Jonathan Edwards and Richard Carter, all looking to try and stay together. In fact, Johnny Pittard's just hung on, and he's going to go at the last possible moment by the look of things. So yellow flags about to be replaced by green flags with just under 8.5 minutes to go. We finally get the Gold Arts Magnificent Sevens race hopefully fully underway now without any further intervention of safety cars required, and it's been a good restart, I would say, by Johnny Pittard, who looked as though by the time they got to Copse Corner had already got a little bit of daylight between himself and the chasing Luke Stevens.
Yeah, he held them right back there, didn't he? But all of a sudden, as you said, he broke away from the rest of the pack. But I don't think that'll last too much longer. Luke Stevens there already taken a lot of curb through the corners, through Maggots and Beckett's in towards Chapel, and already he's going to be back onto the tail of Johnny Pittard here. So watch out for that tow that Mark spoke about, see if he can get anything done down the hanger straight. And let's see if Luke Evans can make the move in the early stages of this restarted race with 7 minutes 40 seconds left on the clock. Not quite close enough at the end of the hanger straight is Luke Evans, but the good news for Luke is he hasn't really got any pressure from behind at the minute.
Yeah, Luke driving one of his customers' cars, David Holroyd, who has developed this car in conjunction with Team Leo's over the last few years. It's been rather recalcitrant really, but he's looking for the inside line as they head in towards the braking area, and he's made it through here. So Luke Stevens in the turbocharged machine goes through to pick up the lead from Jonathan Pittard. Again, you can see the wiggle at the tail end of Jonathan Pittard's Caterham CSR as he tries to get the power down, but the tyres tell him otherwise at the moment, and Pittard closes a bit more in a straight line as they head up the Lewis Hamilton straight. He's got the inside line and is going to sneak through that time as they head up towards Farm. Brave stuff. Quick corner, that right-hander, but already the lead has changed and is changed back. And is it going to change again as they head in towards the braking area? Yes, up towards Village. Luke Stevens thinks about it, wheel to wheel, can't quite squeeze his way through. Johnny Pittard hangs on for the moment.
This is great racing, isn't it, between the two of them? And that was a very late lunge from Johnny Pittard, but respect was given between the two drivers, and Luke Stevens now again drops back into second place. So as you were, as I head now onto the Wellington Straight for another time of asking, this now only lap number 4 with near enough 3/4 of the race has been completed, but Johnny Pittard leads them back off in towards Brooklands. Behind, I think, yeah, Richard Carter has just got the move done as well on the number 777 machine of Jonathan Edwards. So a change for third place. It's the yellow machine there of Richard Carter that has gone ahead of the red car of Jonathan Edwards.
Yes, that's the R300 back ahead of the C400. And Richard Carter, again, has been a long-time competitor in the Classic Sports Car Club Magnificent Sevens, supported again this year by Gold Arts, through and into third position. But he might have the place. The only problem now is that Jonathan Edwards is going to get the opportunity just to sit in his toe and try and see if he can claw his way back up into third position. And that's the great thing about Caterham racing, isn't it? You take the lead, all you then do is punch the hole in the air for the car behind, and he comes back and re-overtakes you, and then you're left with the advantage to do exactly the same again.
Exactly, it gives us lots of overtake and lots of things to talk about, which is why we love the Gold Arts Magnificent Sevens so very much. And as you said, Jonathan Edwards not quite done with this one yet, to try and get himself onto the podium. This is also, by the way, for the lead seconds back from the leaders.
Yeah, good little squabble, that is, thoroughly enjoyable. This is, however, the battle for the lead of the race, because whilst Luke Stevens has now managed to get himself ahead of Johnny Pittard, the pole sitter and long-time race leader, he's not that far ahead as they head out of the club corner and along the Lewis Hamilton straight up towards the pretty much flat out Abbey. You might have a very slight break for that, and possibly a gear down.
Still locking up as they leave their break into the last possible minute, but for the drag to the line here, who's going to take the first win of the year? It's going to be close as they come out of the final corner. It's going to be Luke Stevens that leads them up towards the checker flag, but who's going to get the job done? It's going to be very, very close. It's going to be a drag race to the line, and the win on our screen goes to, wait, because there's a transponder issue there, I think, for Luke Stevens. It was credited at the minute to Johnny Pittard, and it has been given to him across the line by just under a second. Wait to see if that is correct. I think it was a lot closer than that, but Pittard is going to be Martin Dolan and Gary Boone, and can they get themselves to the inside of the drivers now still locking up their minute. Right to the line here, Pitt to take the first win of the year. It's going to be lovely, so they come out on the final corner. It's going to be Luke Stevens that leads them up towards the checker flag.
Well, a great way to open the account here at Silverstone, with a brilliant race for the Gold Arts Magnificent Sevens. Such a shame about the safety car in the early period, but we're going to chat to some of our class winners and also the driver that just missed out on the win. I think the winner, Johnny Pittard, has gone round on another lap of the circuit, so we'll grab a quick word with the driver that finished in second position. Luke, it was so close. Bit of a frustrating start to the race, but then you and Johnny certainly made a race of it.
Yeah, we thought we'd do our best. I just didn't quite have the legs in a straight line on him, but no, both drove well. A little bit race rusty, obviously, and I thought I timed it perfectly, and he just pipped me to the line, so I won't give him so much room this afternoon.
Did you know he'd pipped you? I mean, it was only 92 thousandths of a second, but in car, could you tell?
Yeah, his wheels were in front of mine, definitely. So, apart from running him off the track, which isn't the right thing to do, I didn't really have a lot of choice. He just outgunned me to the line. But yeah, it was awesome fun. So both drove well, nice and clean. We had a good couple of few overtakes, so hopefully everyone enjoyed it.
Turn the tables in race two?
Well, give it our best shot, wouldn't we?
I thought you'd say that. So there we go. That's Luke Stevens, who finished in second place. So that's three drivers. The most important one, though, we've still got to chat to as well, which is Johnny Pittard, who has just taken off the hands device and the balaclava. And Johnny, just talk us through that race. We knew, looking at qualifying, it was going to be tight between yourself and Luke, and that was very much the case.
It was. Well, we've got two forced induction CSRs here, so it was really good to have a head-to-head and finally settle which one had the edge. And I was glad. I hear it was very close at the line.
There was a whole 92 thousandths in it.
Well, I'm glad I got a good drive out of the last corner then. But yeah, I was delighted with that, because Luke is obviously very experienced and knows his way around the car and the track. So just to hold him off was a victory for me. So I was delighted to pip him at the line.
You're talking forced induction. His is turbo. Yours is supercharged, is it?
That's right, yes. Clearly the way forward. The superior approach.
Was there anything left on the table? Did you always have it in hand? I mean, you can say whatever you want now because you're the winner.
No, it was very close. I thought we had another lap, so I stayed on it, flat out. I watched Luke drop back, and I thought maybe he had a problem. So, but I wasn't aware, so I have to go and see the clerk about that.
I was going to say, you'll now need to leave the interview and go and present yourself to the clerk of the course.
But yeah, great race, loved it. Great to be back out.
What it does mean is for race number two, you'll be starting further back.
Yes, no problem. We've got the firepower.
10th-place grid drop. We'll see what you can do.
Thank you very much.
There we go. So that's the drivers for the first of our races here with the Classic Sports Car Club at Silverstone as we celebrate 20 years of racing.
Yeah, we'll wait and see, but the cars now, as you can see, working their way through the mid-stage of the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit, all lined up, ready to go, making sure there's plenty of temperature into those tyres. Of course, there's a bit more power underneath these cars compared to the tin tops, so they'll be able to weave, they'll be able to brake and stop, and they'll be able to make sure that they're ready to go for the rolling start once they get towards the end of this formation lap. But all nicely poised under the safety car.
But what we have still got is the prospect of seeing Johnny Pittard come from 10 positions further back from where he finished the first race. As the race winner, that's the penalty you pick up. How quickly can he get through the field? And then what kind of battle can he give Luke Stevens, who only missed out, remember, by 92 thousandths of a second in race 1?
Certainly did. We spoke to him earlier. He was gunning for the victory, so let's see if he can make this the second race with his first race win of the season. I think there's 13 cars there, so we're missing 4. I think 3 of them are from the back, and there's 1 also elsewhere on the grid also missing as well, which is a shame, but we are still going to be looking forward to some cracking racing. In fact, is Luke Stevens there?
I did question that in my own mind,
yes,
as to whether he was there on the grid.
His colours are not, are they?
No, they're not. No, he's not there.
So Richard Carter will be on his own on that front row to lead them away for the second race of the day for the Gold Arts Magnificent Sevens.
Yeah, let's have see what happens then. Richard Carter on his own then on the front row of the grid. It's going to be Jonathan Evans and Nick Starkey on row number 2. So Richard race again, remember, no pit window to worry about this time through. Lights are on the gantry. Lights go out now. Watch for the black car with the Dayglow helmet. That is Johnny Pittard, who already has picked off 1 or 2 cars even before he gets to the start line in reality. But it is going to be Jonathan Edwards that leads actually up towards Copse Corner for the first time. It's the red car of Jonathan Edwards that leads the way. Who's going to come through in second place? It looks as though it is Richard Carter that's there in second place, but already up to third. Johnny Pittard is up into third place already, having started 10 places lower than he finished, because he was the race 1 winner, and therefore that's the penalty. 10 place grid drop is what you get, but already up to third, and they haven't even got to Maggots.
Yeah, not hanging about at all, is he? So through the field, he's starting to carve his way already. Johnny Pittard there in third position, just behind Richard Carter, who started on the front row, who now starts to come back on Jonathan Edwards here. So it could be 3 wide down off the hanger straight. He's going for a wide line. There is Jonathan Edwards, and all of a sudden the door is left open there by Richard Carter to let Johnny Pittard through. So second place after, what's that, 5 corners, 6 corners about to come, and it's going to be Johnny Pittard, I think, for the lead of the race.
Yeah, well, I think they brought Johnny Pittard runs a little bit late, outbrakes himself heading in towards the braking air through the Vale and Club, so not quite, not for the moment. Jonathan Edwards retakes up the lead of the race once more. I don't think Jonathan Edwards and Richard Carter are particularly going to make it hard for Johnny Pittard, because they know they can't keep with the pace of that car. Let Johnny Pittard disappear off into the distance, which is what he's doing now, because he's taken the lead of the race, and Jonathan Edwards and Richard Carter can have a good little squabble for what will be second and third place, and remember, that will also be a squabble for the lead of Class G as well. And if we can get the car that's in 4th place, Nick Starkey, to join them, that would potentially be a 3-car battle for the lead of Class G, but he's just a little bit further back in 4th currently. Yeah,
he's got his own battle going on as it stands. He's working his way now through the loop and on towards the Wellington Straight for the first time of asking in this 20-minute race, but all nicely through, which is good to see. Johnny Pittard comes off the back straight and he's still leading. It's going to be side by side for second once more though. Richard Carter with the inside line. He's going to take the place away, and that's now going to put Jonathan Edwards back into third place. And to be fair, Nick Starkey will want to see this go on for the majority of this race to allow him to come into the mix. It's up towards the checker flag is going to come very shortly, that of Johnny Pittard. It's been a sterling drive from 11th on the grid. He comes through the final corner up towards the line, takes the checker flag, and Johnny Pittard is going to win by somewhat, I think, 30 seconds or more.
Yeah, so Johnny Pittard comes through. 2 out of 2 for Johnny Pittard. It's a shame we didn't see Luke Stevens out for the second race.
Fantastic win for that of Johnny Pittard. It was a dominant win this time round, not quite the battle we had between him and Luke Stevens in the earlier race, but nonetheless, Johnny Pittard worked his way through on that first lap, and by the time they got down towards the left-hander of Vale, he was pretty much into the lead of the race, wasn't he? So it didn't take him long to extend that gap. Of the Gold Arts Magnificent Sevens, they are done for the day. The second race for them sees the win go the way of Johnny Pittard after slightly more laps this time round, 9 laps in total, wins the race by just over 36 seconds from Richard Carter.
So that's 2 out of 2 for Jonathan Pittard in the Gold Arts Magnificent Sevens. Once more, he's brought the number 81 car to pit lane as a victorious car. It was close in race number 1 between himself and Luke Stevens, just 92 thousandths of a second. But in the absence of Luke Stevens, who should have started from pole position in race number 2, Johnny Pittard was able to get his head down, charge away and build up a very substantive lead indeed. We've also got Richard Carter joining us in the pit lane, and once more we've also got Chris Mayhew, so we're going to grab a quick word with all three of them. Let's wander down and grab a word with Johnny Pittard to start with. Johnny, come and join us again if you will, please. Come on this way, come on.
Thank you.
Johnny, congratulations, 2 out of 2. We were hoping for a good little squabble between yourself and Luke Stevens in that race, but he decided that he, for whatever reason, couldn't make the grid.
The car sold to it. It's a car found a new owner. So impressed with its performance in race 1 that he sold the car so he couldn't run it. But yeah, I still really enjoyed it actually.
You didn't take long to get going. You were up to second by the first corner and almost in the lead by the end of Hanger Straight.
Yeah, I had a good run. The pack sort of strayed to the left a bit and gave me a clear run up the inside into Copse. So yeah, what a treat it is to come here at the GP track on a sunny day and have free reign, just the sevens running out. It was fantastic, so I loved it.
And what sort of difference, because we know whilst we don't like the cold weather, cars and engines like the cold weather, what difference does it make, this kind of weather we've got today?
The car did feel strong, still feel strong. It's a brand new rebuilt engine by Rob's dad. David, if you're at home watching, nice work. So he's done a fantastic job. It's a fresh engine, so it's feeling very strong here. Yeah, wonderful. It's made for this place.
Onto Snetterton next as well, another quick circuit. That's one that you're looking forward to. You're heading towards Norfolk in a few weeks?
Very much, although I think I'm quite far to the back of the grid, aren't I?
You'll give yourself another 10-place grid penalty for sure.
If it's a rolling start, I'm optimistic I can make up some places. But
well done on the 2 wins.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So there we go. That's our